Hey guys, Brozan here. We're going to do part 2 of the ocean boat builds. This time we're going to be talking about the all-purpose build. I call it this because you could slot in a lot of different things with this build. It's very, very useful if you want to pick up extra percent dubs. It's useful if you want to pick up extra spyglass range. It requires less crew if you want to run skirmishers, so it's a very good beginner build. Uh, I'm going to jump right into actually showing off what it is. This time we're going to start off with the crew instead of the upgrades because the crew are the very important part of the build. One note, this is my favorite build. I use it more than I use probably any other. Having said that, probably 40% of the time, I like to change my ship a lot. So let's look at the crew first. I use a pilgrim and then I use another pilgrim. This one should probably be a master. I've got another master somewhere. I think that one may be a hedge mage that's a full wake, but either way, I use 2 wake crew. You don't have to have perfect ones. They'll just get your wake down a little bit more. And then we use a regular cooldown crew. I like to run at least 3 monkeys. I've got an expert engineer in here because I wanted this little bit of lesser. I do run a 4th monkey sometimes, but right now I needed the lesser. So that's kind of the idea of the build. 2 crew for wake. You can drop one of the wake crew if you're running a Carrick, or if you run skirmisher. I like to run 2 because it puts me at 75% with my boat. If you had a better base roll, also could take out a wake crew. So that's the crew is the glue that makes this work. And then we can really jam a lot of different stuff in here. I run smoke bombs because smoke bombs is the best crew supply. It's straight up, nothing else compares to smoke bombs except crew hatches for PvP. It's there's just not a lot of wiggle room there. You can run something that maybe gives dubs there if you had signal pigeons and you don't have smoke bombs. But in general, you'll either have to run pigeons or bombs. Having said that, this frees up 2 of the 3 big upgrades. So I'm running merchant right now to pick up some percent dubs and some tank stats and some move speed. It also gives 20% wake. And then I'm running crow's nest. And that crow's nest gives me that super big spyglass search, but it also gives me 10% regular. Some things that I switch out here regularly, I'll switch crow's nest for shipping contracts. If there's a lot of spawn out on the water, I can quickly swap those 2. I'll take off a pilgrim usually to do it and throw on an extra 9% monkey because I lose 10% regular. That gives me a lot of percent dubs if I go that route. Alternatively, I can switch out my outfitting, maybe throw Sentry on there, and then running Sentry gives me a lot of options in my specialty item. I can run silly stuff that gives really tanky stats, or I can run Weather Vane for a little extra move speed with Spyglass. Skirmisher, if you don't have the crew, if you're just starting out, Skirmisher is amazing for this build because it gives you that 20% LCD and RCD. Looking at Merchant, you can see I'm not picking up a whole lot of cooldown benefit from it. You can put Explorer here. Explorer is actually a really good one. It gives dubs, it gives move speed. If you're running this on a Carrick or a large, I prefer Explorer. On a Galleon, I prefer Merchant for the extra bump to Wake Scaler. So you set up this core crew, and then you go from there. I'm gonna pause real quick. All right, sorry about the brief pause. My wife called, and I didn't want to have to edit this video. So, uh, we talked a little bit about the outfitting. You could jam a lot of different outfittings here. I've even put Fisherman here to great success because it's got that little bit of greater on it. And then with the specialty, same thing. We just want to make sure we're picking up about 20% wake in between the 2 of them. If you do a little bit more, you'll you can get a little wiggle room there. But one thing I like doing, it's a silly thing, is putting exceptional powder here on the specialty item. It makes your Galleon hit for like 1800 hull. It feels really good. So looking at the abilities, bread and butter Smokeshot Ghostfire. We're going to use this on every single boat except smalls, sometimes mediums. We're going to roll up. We're going to shoot with Smokeshot first. It's our longer, or I'm sorry, we're going to shoot with Ghostfire first, and then we're going to use our Smokeshot. We do it in that order. We always use the one with the higher cooldown first because we've got an engineer on board and we want his tinker to hit the higher cooldown. So we'll Ghostfire and then we'll Smokeshot. We run hard to port on this. Hard to port is a super weird ability on a Galleon. It's not crazy useful, but we don't have anything else in that slot that we really want to use. We're never going to use explosive ammo, and our speed's actually not complete ass. So picking up an extra half a tile to a tile for 15 seconds makes us go faster. It's not the best thing in the world, but you really don't have anything else that fits well there. Expedite repairs, that's not going to get used nearly as much as we do on our greater cooldown boat. Expedite repairs in this case is a secondary to Ghostfire. There are times where we want to use it, but not often. Icebreaker is for PvP, and when we hit those 6,000 sail galleons, we're almost never going to use our icebreaker. We don't have to use rum rations. Rum rations probably doesn't even have a place on this boat, believe it or not. Running 2 pilgrims, we will almost never hit rum. So I might actually, now that I'm sitting here talking about it and thinking about it, rum could come off for something like Sargasso Sea Change combo here. I don't know if we'd ever actually use that, but there is a world where that's a better option. So again, this build heavily focused on the crew. We want to use lesser cooldown and regular cooldown. We want to pick up about 40% total wake from our outfitting specialty and smoke bombs or crew supply, outfitting specialty crew supply, and we can mix and match to our heart's content. So running crows right now because spawn was a little iffy when I recorded the last video. Might change that out for shipping contracts. Might change that out for exceptional powder. Might swap merchant for explorer and grab something else on specialty. Lots and lots of options with this build. It's a lot cheaper build too. You could build this for the cost of one major upgrade. Skirmisher probably being the cheapest. Throw Skirmisher on here, something that gives a little bit of wake in these, and you're set to go. So this is a much cheaper build. You don't even need your icebreaker with this build. Enough talking about it. Let's look at the stats real fast. So we're running almost 25% dubs, 75% wake, focusing on regular and lesser as our boarding abilities. And then we're running 3 powder monkeys. So our bombs do, how much do our bombs do? Our bombs do 75 times. Oh, that ain't right. 1,000 times 1.75, 1750 times 40.5, 140.5. They do 2,458 damage. So we'll get on board and then we'll bomb. Let's go play with it. Again, I run this on a Galleon. I like Galleons. You can run this on a large. You can run it on a Carrack. This is probably the most modular boat build that you can get in the game. Get up some mummies. Those are a little ways away, so we'll start driving over, eat our food. So we got 2 larges here. We're going to start with a Raiders. Remember, we're going to use our regular cooldown, which is Ghostfire first. Use that as we're pulling in. Drop our mass curse, get a couple of poisons off. Drive away. Wait on them to shoot. Drive back in. Use our smoke shot. You can see we're boardable now. I just felt to hit my chain lightning correctly. Make everything dead. I think probably the only thing I don't like about this build is I have to look at that smoke the whole time. Loot everything. Use a skinning knife dumping corpses. You open a lot of corpses. Only 1,200 left on this. A single shot from our cannons does about 1,500 hull. When everything else is broken, everything else is broken, so we don't have to use a bomb here. And now we're moving to the vial ship. Pushed my wrong turn button. So Ghostfire, Mass Curse. Got Galleon to move to next. Move out his cannon shot that he's about to shoot. Good thing we did. We got Eldritched. That's that doesn't happen often. That might make it hard to actually board. We're going to do a lot less damage. We're going to try a board here. Okay. This one's at 3,100, which means we're going to have to use a bomb and a regular shot. Wow, it never works first time. You might wonder why I loot regs. It's force of habit. Nothing else. This might not sink it. Our guns are actually a little damaged. Probably not going to sink it. Probably going to require a second cannon shot. Yeah. Alright, moving to the Galleon. Galleons are special cases. We're going to make sure we actually look at the health on this one before we shoot it. It's going to be in a weird spot. Oh. Gotta be very careful here. Okay, so it's 3,700. We're pretty safe to do regular shooting. Use smoke shot first because it is a Galleon. It's nice to take all that damage. Too close to this. My script that yells at me is yelling at me because it thinks there's a bomb placed. That was a lot. There's a very pissed off polar bear over there. We really need to go through a repair cycle, I think, before we drop bombs. We should be out of combat. So we'll go through a repair cycle here. We ate an Eldritch and then we ate Cannon Shot driving into this one. Just in general, bad luck. We need one more. Reload. One bomb sinks this. So we'll start our hull. We'll go over, we'll go back. And we'll drive away. Get that other hull repair in while that bomb blows up. That's why I like Merchant. Boy, that feels good. Let me check down here. We'll do a loop around Telescope Island real quick. It's not looking hopeful though. This is why I like Crow's Nest. 167 range. That feels good. This large is kind of a trap, but we're going to make this a shorter video. I think you really see the gameplay pattern. We're really focusing on these two abilities. We're almost never using our Icebreaker. Icebreaker's for Paragons, for really, really tanky Galleons, and it's for players. You see, we're never having to heal our crew, so our greater cooldown really, really doesn't matter all that much. I don't know what I did wrong, man. And again, Spyglass range does not increase our power necessarily, so it's very easy to swap that Crow's Nest out for more power. If you want to throw signal pigeons there, you can cut the two wake crew and run different crew. You really got a lot of options by running these powder monkeys. Guys, again, I really appreciate you checking out the videos. I love the comments. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I know you hear that on every YouTube video you ever watch, but it's what really shows us that this stuff is reaching people and matters. So look at my dubs. That's not bad. In 8.5 minutes, we did almost 40,000 dubs. So you can see the build itself is very, very strong. It moves quickly. It sinks Galleons just fine, and it scales. This is one of the easiest ones to start out with as a completely new player. Grab a couple of 4% monkeys and a skirmisher, and you can be out there running this on a larger Carrick. So really, really love this build. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and hit me up on Discord, guys. Hope you all have a good night.